Welcome. World of Freedom, episode number 4. I got my man and mentor, Sawand Belcher, here today. I appreciate you stopping through, Sawand.
That's for sure, brother. How you feeling, man?
And I'm feeling great. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So, Sawand, just to start off the segment today, tell people, who you are and, where you're from.
Yeah, for sure. Sawand Belcher. Personal wise, social media wise, you can always find me just putting in "This is me taking action," and I created that like name or slogan or phrase because I was working at the dealership. Just the dealership is like a 9 to 9. It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 9 to 9, and doing really good as far as just becoming a better person, getting good at sales, and it was really strict, but I was making good money too. But the time factor was really killing me. So I remember I started trying to look for like a little side hustle that I could do. And so I started, flipping houses and wholesaling. First it was like rental property, and then it turned into wholesaling. And I remember telling one of my coworkers there, y'all seen, I was like, yo, once I do my first $8,000 deal, bro, I know at that point, I can leave and I can do it on my own. And after I hit that $8,000 deal, I told Yasin about it. He was like, yo, so it's like, yo, you gonna leave yet? I was like, nah, not gonna leave quite yet, you know. And what made the shift for me was when I sold this deal to a white guy named Adam Spear. Awesome dude, young dude. He was probably only 2 years older than me at the time, and he had 110 doors, and he was 2 years older than me. And he was like, bro, you don't have to. He came to the dealership to give me his earnest money, and he's like, bro, you don't have to work here, right? I was like, bro, what are you talking about, man? I love selling cars. That's what I do for a living. And he's like, bro, we can walk out of here right now. And he was adamant about that thing for like an hour. Stayed at the dealership trying to convince me to leave. And I didn't leave that day, but that conversation rang in my ear for probably like another week. And when I told my boss, I was like, bro, I can't be here right now. I'm just in the wrong mental space. I changed my name to "This is me taking action" while I was walking out of the dealership. And ever since then, you know, um, I've been on this entrepreneurial journey, and I use real estate to make money. That's where most of my money comes from. But it's been a journey ever since then.
That's awesome. So it actually leads to my
Yeah.
next question. Did you have like a previous background as an entrepreneur, before you got into real estate?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think life leaves clues. When I was young, I asked my dad, "Hey, dad, yo, I wanted something on the computer." I was on his computer, and he was like, "Yo, you can buy whatever you want when you got your own money." So literally, I mean, instantly, I don't know what happened in my mind, but I opened up Word. I was like, "Mom, I'm about to create this business." So I called it Juan's Lawn and Dog Sitting Service. Created like a whole logo, a little flyer, and everything. Printed off 50 of them, dropped them around the community that day. That day he told me that, and I was in like sixth grade. Making $1,000 a month. And in college, I sold car parts. I mean, I've always had some kind of business. So yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily know I was gonna be in entrepreneurship, but now I'm in it, and I look back to all the things that I've done over my life. It's like everything that happened led up to now, So it's all like a reason. It's not just a coinkydink.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. So, going back to real estate, how did your first deal come about?
Oh, nice. Shoot. It's my first deal is a couple first deals that I have. Okay, so my first deal. Okay, my first actual first deal of real estate investing. This is what I call it. Okay, it was in college, and I was supposed to be renting an apartment with my friend. He ended up backing out, but it was a two-bedroom, one bath apartment. Okay, a little different to say is a deal. But what happened was, since he didn't move in, since he didn't have his money, I ended up furnishing the whole apartment. and I ended up renting out that room for $600, and my rent at the time was $575. So like I was living for free, you know, and that like struck something in me in college. So through college, my next apartment was a 3-bedroom. So I was renting 2 rooms, making money on that, you know. And then when I got to the car dealership and I could actually, I had some money to qualify for a loan and all that good stuff. My first buying a house deal, I got off of the MLS. Okay. It was a pre-foreclosure. Jackie Graves was my realtor. And I was buying this house to surprise my to-be wife. Okay, we wasn't engaged or anything. It was just my girlfriend. We had a child together, my oldest. And I wanted to buy a house. So I bought this house without her knowing about it because we're not married at the time. And when I closed on it, I kind of drove around, with her in the car, and it's like, hey, let's look at houses. We pulled up to the house and I said, hey, this is your house. Let's go, And she's like, no, I'm not moving in. I'm like, what? What you talking about? She's like, well, we're not married. I was like, but stop playing.
All
I just
right.
bought this house,
You
let's
done did
go.
all that just to get to
Right.
that point and hear that.
Right. And so I tried to back out the deal at that point. So since she didn't want to move in, I tried to back out the deal, but everything's already recorded, so there's no backing out. Realtor's been paid, attorney's been paid, state been paid, everybody's been paid. So there's no backing out. And Miss Jackie, she was like, yo, well, how about I just rent out the house for you? And that way you'll get paid, every month for the rest of your life. And I'm like, okay, every month for the rest of my life, because the car dealership, you make a sale, you get one check.
It's very transactional.
Very transactional. But I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And so that was actually my first, like real purchase right there was that deal with Miss Jackie.
And then from there it was just all uphill.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the next one. So after we bought that one, okay, I actually did get engaged that year, so of course she wanted a house then,
Yeah.
So so I started looking for another house. Turns out that the bank said I had to wait a year to get approved for another loan. Totally fine. I figured, that house we got at a discount. So we bought that house at like 90,000. It was worth like 130 at the time. So it's definitely worth way more now. But the next house we actually got door knocking because we was just driving around again, trying to figure out what neighborhood we want to be in. Figured out we wanted to be in this area. I still live in the house now. And so we started knocking on doors in that neighborhood. And this one lady, Miss Shirley, she let us in, She's like, come on in. She had food. She gave us food and gave us something to drink. We told her what we was trying to do. And this has been an hour at this point. And she's like, yo, so what do you guys think about my house? We hadn't even walked through the house at all. We just sitting in the living room. And it's like, hey, sure, we like it. We'll take it. And she's like, well, what about my stuff? And I was like, well, we're getting a loan. So, I mean, you got 2 months to move all your stuff, and she said, great, that's fine. I called Miss Jackie again so she could write up the paperwork. I didn't know that we could write up our own paperwork at the time. And I ended up getting a loan to buy this house right here. Bought this house at 119. And we did a desktop appraisal a few weeks ago and it appraised at 350. So yeah, values is going crazy right now.
So basically from that first deal, to every other deal that you've done, it's basically been a smooth transition.
Hell no. No, it ain't smooth. Nah, none of it has been smooth. There's been a problem with every deal. And I've done over 300 now, but there's literally a problem with every deal. But that's not a bad thing though. Like, like I was telling you earlier, like everybody has a level of problems. You know what I mean? My 5-year-old is in kindergarten. So, they're starting to like read and have spelling tests. And so yesterday she had her real first problem she had to solve. She didn't want to learn how to spell these words on her spelling test. So she had to fight through this problem. And it was such a hard thing for her to take on. She's crying and just, I don't want to do this and this is hard, But just like, anybody willing to take on a problem, you have to be willing to push through it. So all of the deals have some kind of problem, but you just got to be willing to learn and grow through each problem, through each deal.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So, how would you explain, the current real estate market that we're in at this time?
Fun, amazing, uh, large deal spreads, awesome. My wife just beat the dog, so I guess he just ate some of her food. So the other day he ate like a whole salmon. Yeah, he ate like a whole salmon. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the current market is crazy. The current market is crazy. Projections say that it's gonna last like this for another 3 to 5 years. So I'm down to ride the wave. But honestly, everybody's deal size should be higher because if you have a house, since there's such a low, since there's such a shortage of houses, if you have a house in your control, meaning under contract or in ownership, then you have the gold. So if you're able to, you know, wait the little bit of time to find the right buyer for your deal, you should be able to make the most amount of money that you've ever made before. So this is like an amazing time to be in real estate. Okay. Money is easy to come by. Okay. They got non-recourse DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans. That means you ain't got to qualify for nothing. You know, this everything is good. The state is just printing money. Interest rates are still crazy low. Fixed rates are like a fan these days. Nobody's getting an arm rate. It's crazy. Nobody's getting arms other than investors. This right now is a great time to be playing the game.
Yeah, most definitely. So would you still say it's like a seller's market at this time?
For sure. Yeah, seller can sell to whoever they want to. Yeah, they don't have no problem finding a buyer. There's way more buyers than it is sellers. Okay. Now the buyer, the buyer has to be savvy in this market. You know, the buyer has to be smart, sharp, enthusiastic, expert, do research. You know what I mean? Be consistent, be aggressive, have a little sauce. So that way, even though it might be sour because you got a good deal, it tastes sweet to the seller because you know how to talk, but still fun to play in. I mean, let's be serious. A rigged game is still fun to play.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that.
You know a
Yeah.
movie that came from, right?
Nah, I don't. I don't
Really? The
actually.
Banker. Yeah,
Oh,
the
really?
Banker.
I've never seen
The
that.
Banker.
Who
Oh, you gotta
who,
watch
who
that, man.
plays in that
It's
movie?
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson plays in that movie, and then I forget the other guy's name, but essentially they're two black guys. They're two black real estate investors in the 50s. Okay. And you know how owning
Wow.
houses was back then. So they were buying houses in they were buying apartment buildings in white neighborhoods. Um, and finally people caught up to what they were doing. So the bank stopped lending them money. So what they did was they made a relationship with a partner and ended up buying a building with all of the banks in it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you were talking about the movie, and you were saying that you were explaining the bankers and everything, and they were using other people's money, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So they were um it opened up like this young guy from Texas. He was listening to white guys' conversations, and in Texas it was super like, super racist. And so he was like a shoe shine boy. And so, white guys will be talking about real estate deals and cap rates and raising rents and, you know, organized planning. And so the little boy told his dad about his vision about what he wanted to do. And the dad said, niggas can't do that in Texas. So later on, the movie jumps into him moving to California to live out his dream, right, of owning property. And he's out looking for his first multifamily deal. And of course, he comes across this white dude that's motivated to sell, right? the black kid has some money, but he doesn't have all of the money. So he was able to talk this white guy into seller financing, and he actually fulfilled his promises on the seller financing deal. And the white guy saw he saw he saw value in that. So they ended up partnering and creating creating a nice little portfolio. Okay. When the white guy passes, when the white guy passes, he loses all of his houses. He loses all of his apartments because black people can't own it this time.
Right.
So that's when he makes the relationship with Samuel L. Jackson, and they team up and own. I think they ended up picking up over like 1,000 doors
Oh wow.
in the 50s. In the 50s, black guys.
Wow, I gotta check on that. That movie
Yeah,
probably
that's
not
a good
on.
one.
It's probably not on Netflix, is it?
Nah, it's iTunes. iTunes has it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, most definitely. Yeah. So, also at this time, what would you say your current marketing strategies are?
I'm doing cold calling is definitely still working, but the best thing that's working for me right now, where I am in my era, is really social media. Okay. I'm dominated just being an authority. Okay. So yeah, I mean I'm dominated at just for I'm producing hella content on YouTube. I'm producing hella content on Instagram, and that's bringing me a lot of business. Okay. And it's more so like people are like seeing my content and they're like, oh, I knew he was doing business. I knew he was doing money, but I didn't know he knew how to do all of this. Like people didn't really understand exactly all that I was doing. So now that I come out of the light and I just say everything that I'm doing, they're like, oh wow, this is a lot, you know. So a lot of my deals are coming just from being an authority in the market. Okay. But we're still doing cold calling, still doing RVMs, and running Facebook ads at $10 a day.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And then you're also, raising a lot of private money as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we buy all of our own deals right now. And we're just buying all of our own deals, number one, to make more on every deal. But also, my goal is to get to 100 doors. So I mean, it's just like, I mean, I could keep assigning them, but I mean, let's get to our goal real quick. So that's why I'm buying all of my deals right now, because I'm trying to get to this goal, and that's just what it is. I'm trying to get to this goal like now, like you know, I'm not trying to live like I got 100 years to live. Like I'm trying to get to my
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be at 100 right now. I'm at 50, and so my goal is to be at 64 by August, and so I'm gonna spend the last quarter, wholesaling everything so I can make sure I'm stabilizing my portfolio at 64, which will set us up to go into the new year and hit the 100.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, for those who are listening, I'm actually a member in Sawand's mastermind. And one of the goals that I set for myself this year as well, outside of wholesaling, is just to increase, our inventory, the doors that we have as well. And
Nice.
just talking to Sawand, he's brung up some good points and he's made it very evident, in terms of why it's important, to hold on, to more doors as well, because ultimately, with assignments, yeah, it's great, it's very transactional as well, but you also want to focus on, building wealth as well. And you can only really build wealth by holding on to more properties.
Yeah. Tell me why you said it like that. So you said the word inventory. Why do you say the word inventory?
Well, I mean, I look at inventory, in terms of, just something that you can go to, right? So that's how I look
Yeah.
at it. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
because I used to work at a store, right? So just the items that we had in the store, right? So look at your business and look at what you got going on as a store. And then
I
just
love it.
being able to go in the store and,
Yeah.
have the items stocked on the shelf,
That's for sure. Honestly, when a light bulb went off, I guess about 2.5 years ago, and I said the same thing to myself. My mom is one of my business partners, and I said, "Yo, these rentals are our inventory." It's like, as long as we got this inventory, we always have something to sell. We always have a way to make money. And so that's I see it the same way. The larger your inventory, the more money you make. You know, that's it. If you got one or two houses in your inventory, you're not making very much money. But if you got 50, 60, 100 in your inventory, okay, you got the opportunity to cash flow.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like
and
that.
yeah, most definitely. And for me, I've only been doing real estate for about 3 years now. So, at this point, I see how important it is, and I feel most importantly how important it is to try to establish more passive income. And if you can do that earlier in your career, that would be, great.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, amen. The faster you do it, the better it is. Yeah. My
Yeah.
dog trying to be in the camera.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the faster you can do it, the better it is. I mean, yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready to hit 100 because no doubt, I'm taking a month off. I'm taking a month off so I can sit and I can plan, I can think, and figure out what the next strategy is after we hit 100.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure like after you hit 100, you guys probably plan on converting maybe let's say 80-90% over to a completely passive business model.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm cool with being active. I really like doing the business. I really enjoy, like the hunt, the chase. I call it the high school crush. You know,
Mm.
um, I really enjoy that. So I don't necessarily want to stop that, but at that point, number one, I'll be able to retire my mom. Okay. Because the reason why, one reason why we've been able to grow so fast is because I don't really spend a lot of our money. Like I'll put it back in. So today we had a closing and we're making $40,000 from it. I'm paying myself 4,000. I'm paying my mom 4,000. Everything else is going right back in. So I mean, we'll get our wire on Monday, and by Thursday, we'll be right back. That 40 grand will be gone. It's back in our
Wow.
inventory. You know what I mean? It's
Wow.
back in our houses, because that's not my goal is not to stockpile cash. My goal is to get to 100 houses. And so, cash flowing, net cash flowing $350 a door. So the only way you're going to do it fast is to throw a lot of money at it. That's it. You can't expect to have a $10 million portfolio and not put, anything in, and then not take any effort or any time. That's not really how it works.
Yeah, and that's a huge gem that you just dropped right there, because even for, people like me, like sometimes you really it's like you really have to open up your mind, be like, dag, like of course, like, you might make a seven, a five, or more $1,000 check,
Yeah,
but then at the same time, it's like you need to put like most of this back into marketing. You know what I mean? And I
for
think it's
sure.
like, and I think it's like a reality. It's like, damn, it's like, but in order to really grow and progress, you know what I mean? That's what has to be done. So I
Yeah,
mean, it takes a
that
lot of
is.
discipline to be able to do
Oh
that.
yeah, it takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of balls. And it's that starts when, if you can get unemotional about getting a deal under contract, that'll help. Because, like, let's say, when's the best time to get a deal under contract?
Would you say like,
Right after you got one under contract.
right?
Okay. What most people do when they get a deal under contract is they're like, yes, I got a deal. Okay. And then they take the day off. But me, it's like, if I get a deal on the contract, I'm like, oh shit, today's a good day. I gotta make some more calls, let's go. And you know what I mean? And that energy transfers over to the people that are on the phone, And that next thing you get 3 contracts in one day, and that's how you are able to like push the envelope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't have any kind of emotion attached to getting a deal, it's just this is a normal thing. So when you can make getting 3 deals in a week a normal thing, then you know what I mean? It doesn't slow you down, because I'm telling you, most people just slow down. They get the closing, they get their check, they take the rest of the day off. They take the rest of the day off. It's like, for what?
It's just like having a regular
really ain't
job.
Make that money today. You really didn't make, you really ain't make that money today.
And they ain't do them percentages.
That's old money. Right. By the time you get to closing, that's old money. That money was made when you got the deal on the contract. Why are you celebrating right now?
Yeah. And
like when you get a deal on the contract, you ain't got the money yet. So why are you celebrating right now?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then it's like you said one time before, you actually made me more aware of this because I wasn't doing this at one point, but actually taking out the percentages for everything, right? So you got taxes, of course you got to pay yourself first. You got marketing expenses, right? You know what I mean? You got all these different expenses. It's like people don't realize, hey, out of this $5,000, you gotta, divide it, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or it's just like that money's just gonna blow, right?
Blow, and you're not gonna know where it goes. So you gotta have a percentage breakdown. And in my opinion, you can't be the person moving that money in different accounts. I think you should have somebody else, like your wife or your assistant, moving that money into these different accounts or in different areas. So you don't have to be, concerned with that. You need to be focused on getting to the next one. But that's like a huge part of growing is changing your money thermostat. Like your money thermostat should not go on 80 degrees every time you get a fucking deal. At some point, it's going to have to be a normal thing that you expect, and you're going to have to set like another goal, so maybe your next goal is, I'm going to get the most contracts in a day and then I'll celebrate, or I'm going to get the largest, spread and then I'm going to celebrate. You can hit some records, you know what I mean? Yeah. You can't celebrate until we celebrated when we did like amazing stuff. When we got a deal on the contract, great. We still in business. Amen. But when we get a house for like $1,000, bro, we're gonna have to celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to celebrate that. When we get a seller to allow us to take over their mortgage payment and they pay us $5,000 to take over their mortgage, we're gonna have to celebrate that. Yeah. But other than that, let's just keep moving. Let's just keep moving forward to the vision.
Oh yeah, most definitely. One thing I wanted to dive into a little bit too was again being in Sawand's mastermind. At the beginning of the year, he gave us a book. It was called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity.
Yeah.
Right. By Edwin Gaines, right? So in this book, the first chapter, they dive into the law of tithing, right? And on this show, I try to dive into a little bit of spiritual principles as well. But basically, in that chapter of the book, it was just going into how it's so important to tithe, right? It's so important to put what you have, 1/10 of what you have back into the universe, and in turn it would come back to you. I feel like that's very important. And it's really opened up my eyes to how deeper the universe works in terms of the law of giving and receiving.
For sure. And so just understand that all of the laws in the Bible are laws no matter if they're referred to the Bible or not. Like, so it doesn't matter if you're reading the Bible. It doesn't matter if you believe in the Bible. A Bible law is still a Bible law. Let me help you understand. So the tithe is you're willing to give up something, right? And then because you're willing to give up something, you get something. So let's call it marketing. Because you're willing to set aside a percentage of that money, that $5,000 that you get from a deal, and you're willing to sacrifice it, you're willing to give that portion up for marketing, you're able to get more money because of the marketing, right? Your acquisition guys, your team, right? They need training, right? You're willing to sacrifice spending some kind of training on them or yourself. And so in return, you know what I mean? In return,
Yeah.
you get something. So that tithing law is so deep. You know, in the beginning, like to a beginner tither, you know, the tithe that's the only requirement. But once you get good at tithing, download the I got the Givelify app, because you know, since I get paid every day. So every time I get paid, I got the Givelify app because I want to tithe right then and there. I don't want to leave it to chance so I can go to church on Thursday or Sunday and have to wait to do that all in one day. I tithe every day. So um I was saying that to say, like, when you get past just the baby giving, you know, you got to get to the big boy giving so you can get to the big boy blessings. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, you know, personally growing up in church, you know, I remember seeing my mom tithe. At the time, you know, it was like she was giving her last. I didn't really understand that, you know. But I guess now, being older and, you know, you giving us that book and coming back around to it really made me open up my eyes in a deeper way, in terms of, you know, it just made sense, you know, why it's
Yeah.
important. You know, it just made sense at this point in my life.
You can't outgive God. You know, let's be serious. You can't outgive God. You know, I'm down. If you ever want to do a 90-day challenge, I'm absolutely down to do a 90-day tithing challenge. You know, and we did this. When I first left my job, and things were hard when I left my job. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have no nest egg or nothing like that. I walked out of that building, you know, on passion and faith. Okay. You know,
No.
not on logic.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
not
same
on
here.
logic.
Same here.
Yeah. So, but I remember when Mr. Cox was like, "Yo, bro, like, if you believe in that, you want something, and you can obtain something." He said, "Yo, tithe like it, you know, tithe like you already got it." He said, it's gonna seem like dumb, because you're like, you got $1,000 in your account, you got a bill that's due on Monday, today's Sunday, and you're like gonna tithe your whole $1,000. It seems dumb to go on zero like that, you know. But when you do that, when you're willing to give up so much, number one, the universe, God, realizes you're willing to make that sacrifice. Okay. You know, number two, yourself, okay, goes to work on Monday. You go to work on Monday because you don't eat.
Oh
So you trying
yeah.
to figure out what
Yeah.
you're gonna eat.
Oh
And
yeah.
so you naturally work harder when you're on E. Everybody does. Everybody works harder on fear, you know.
Oh
So, well,
yeah.
especially me. I
Oh
know
yeah.
what drives me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That
And
anxiety ain't no joke, man. I'm trying
no,
to tell
no,
you.
sir. Especially for a man that
Oh
got a
yeah.
wife with some kids. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's gonna drive you. That's gonna drive you. And that's what that did for me, you know, on top of what God did, you know.
Oh yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely. So, Sawan, you know, we know you mentioned earlier, you know, that one of your goals was to acquire at least 100 properties, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, other than that, what would you say your long-term goals are? Like, you know, if you could, you know, look in the future, 20 years from now, where would you say, you know, you would want to be?
Well, 20 years is a long time. 20 years, what am I? I'm 31 right now. That's 51. That's too long to think about. But I'll tell you, you know, I'm 31 right now. I mean, shoot, by by 32, like I said, I want to be at 100 doors, and the whole purpose of 100 doors is peace, is joy, and time. It's peace, it's joy, it's time. That's what I want out of the 100 doors. And in 5 years, I really want to have like a whole group of people that I've impacted, just like a a really good number of people that I've impacted, like just helped. Doesn't matter if they, join the mastermind or anything, just people that just say, yo, Sawand, I appreciate this. It happens often now, especially going hard on YouTube. It's just, hey, I appreciate it. I learned something. I changed my life. Matter of fact, my guy Jake in Indianapolis, if I can get 500 people to change their lives like Jake has. He had just got out of jail. So Jake, he had got a felony or something. He was in jail for a little bit of time. And when he got out, he started wholesaling. And after about 3 months of wholesaling, he connected with me. And now, literally like a year later, this dude got 11 rehabs going on at one time. You know, tax wise, he collected about 800,000. Bro, if I can convert a couple felonies, a couple felons to $800,000 a year, legit.
Oh
Not
yeah.
selling drugs, not, you know what I mean? Not robbing banks or anything like that. That's dope. That's dope. Especially because I do talk about God and I preach God in everything that we do. So, you know, yeah, I mean, between time, freedom, peace, and joy, and being able to help other people at the same time, and they actually share that with me. I mean, that's honestly the reason why I teach is because, my wife really don't understand what I be going through. So the people that I teach, those are the people that actually understand, where I'm trying to go. We have the same mentality and we can just be a smooth group of friends. Um, that's the cool thing about Jamel, because all of his contacts now, they were doing it together. They were, at some point, your mentor becomes your friend, your mentees become your friends. And 5, 10 years later, you know, everybody's on the up and up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's millionaires, and it's just, and that's really what I'm after. Of course, I like money. I definitely like nice things, but I definitely want the time freedom. I left the dealership to get my time back. You know,
All right.
that's I love that, and I got a lot of kids too, so I need that time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely understand. And like you said, it's important to give. Like, for example,
Amen.
you coaching, you don't have to do that, right? It's something that you do though.
Right.
So, that's a great thing in regards to that.
Amen.
Um,
And pray and sometimes pray for me too, bro. And pray for me because it really, you know, that really comes over a coach. That really, especially the people that are successful in what they do. There's some guys that are in business, that are in the education business, that are there to make money off of education, right? But there's other guys that are in education because they like to talk to people. They like to actually genuinely help. But those people that like to genuinely help and they're successful doing the business, it's very hard to do the business while doing another business. It's
mhm.
very hard. It's very hard to work. You know what I mean? It's very hard to give all of yourself. You know, it's very hard to empty your whole cup out. Like every day, you have to empty your cup. So you have to work on filling up your cup. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Is really just being open to pouring out. That's really tough, especially as a
Yeah.
black male, especially as a
Yeah.
black male,
Yeah. And then on top of that, trying to balance family life as well.
for sure,
You know, I
for
can only
sure.
imagine. I can only imagine.
Heck yeah.
But yeah. So again, Sawan, you know, appreciate you coming on. Any last words for the people?
Whatever you want to do, you can do it. And it's okay to be big. It's okay to think big. I was telling my maintenance guy that, he always struggles with pricing me whenever he does some work. And I'm like, bro, be selfish. Like, hit me with a high number, negotiate with me a little bit, have fun. It's okay. It's okay to want to be a millionaire. It's okay to want to wear Balenciagas and drive a Bentley. It's okay to want to have a 10,000 square foot house. It's totally fine. You don't have to want to go big. But if you do truly, or if you're willing to risk whatever it takes because you want to go big, don't let all of the generational curses that our family members passed down to us stop you from wanting to go big.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, it's totally fine. It's totally fine, bro.
Yeah. Like one of those, generational curses could be, most people with money are bad or evil.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Most people with money did something wrong to get it. Money don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can honestly say, for myself too, going through the affirmations and stuff too,
Yeah.
that I got from you, from the mastermind and things like that. Even sometimes looking at that, and saying that, it's like it really challenges you to expand your mind as well, right? Because a lot of us, specifically, coming from, a minority environment, it always seems like it's limitations. And
Yeah.
you got to really try to stretch your mind far beyond, your current environment.
Heck yeah. And that's a painful process. It really is. It's all fun and games on YouTube, but actually trying to practice, opening up your mindset is very hard. That's why I was trying to express my daughter. She was crying last night, getting through these spelling words. She was just crying. And I was like, honey. So we came up with an affirmation just for her. Last night we were saying, this is easy. Anytime I spell, I get it right. This is easy. That was our affirmation that I said with my daughter. And because it's a mindset thing, and you got to start speaking that thing to yourself so you can get past that thing. And it really is hard. It really is hard to stretch your mind. I'm telling you, it's super hard.
Most definitely. So again, Sawand, thank you for stopping through and blessing the podcast today. Yeah, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
For sure. Type in "This is me taking action" on YouTube, Instagram, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, and you're gonna find me. Definitely "This is me taking action.com." I pride myself on helping guys use real estate, to make money. Okay. So I love, first, if you're new, I like showing you how to wholesale. If you're wholesaling, I prefer to show you how to turn into a real estate investor. Okay. I believe that your real estate investing business should be making assignment checks, which come really quick, should be making rehab checks, which come in 6 months, that are way bigger checks. My first rehab, I made 100 grand on. And then holding some of that stuff, because you can't make all that money and pay Uncle Sam models taxes. So making little small $300, $200 net profit checks from rentals. All of those. I mean, literally a check hits my account every single day. I mean, is amazing. It is amazing. And that's what I like showing guys how to do, is use real estate, how to create multiple checks, man. But they can hit me up on Instagram. That's really where I'll be at. And definitely for sure check me out on YouTube. So hey, I appreciate you having me on. And I look forward to having you up as well, if you can still make it up in Greensboro, because I definitely would love to do that with you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I can't wait to get on that high quality camera. You know what I
Amen.
mean? you know.
Amen.
Hey
Yo,
man.
hopefully, bro, I'm ready to close on this office. We got this office building under contract, subject to, And I kind of got this whole plan where I'm making one portion of it just a studio. So, I can, have people come in and do interviews and stuff like that. We got 2 office buildings, seller financing, bro. I'm so ready to close on this joint. And wish we were closing on it faster, but the seller doesn't want to close until April. So,
That's what's up.
but heck
That's
yeah.
what's up. I can honestly say too, for everybody that's listening before you go, Sawand really is one of the few out there that can really do every type of real estate deal. You know what I mean? He's not a specialist in wholesaling. He's not a specialist in one area. He does, a lot of different areas very good, and that's hard to find, you know what I mean, out there, So
Yeah, it's fun, bro.
kudos to you.
I just this past week I funded 2 transactional deals for 2 of my students. So if you ever need transactional funding for a double close, I don't know if I told you, but I'm down. I mean, this business is just so fun. You can get really creative. Okay. And let me tell you how I fund the transactional deals. So Noah hit me up, says, yo, I need 65 grand. I got a deal closing on Thursday. Okay. I said, cool. Send me both contracts. Okay. And send me the attorney name. Okay. I call my private money guy that I partner with on transactions like this. I say, yo, brother, look, we got this transactional deal. Wire the 65,000 plus the closing cost to the attorney. Right. We charge 2.5%. So that means that my guy gets $1,500, I get $1,000. That's simple. You're a matchmaker. You're a problem solver. You can make money in so many ways. All you got to do is just have a little sauce. You got to have a little talk game, have a little hustle, and be able to, be willing to learn. And and that's it. That's really it.
Most definitely. Again, Sawand, thank you for stopping through today, and blessing us again. Everybody, continue to be on the lookout. Follow Sawand at This Is Me Taking Action. And peace out.
Peace.